There are so many products made out of wood. I guess all of us, the customers, have the same problem. We go to the supermarket and want to buy one of these products, but there are so many different kinds of the same commodity, and all of them advertise different advantages. Many of them give us the impression that they have a sustainable origin and support an untouched nature. Is that really true? How can we decide for the best one?
Different certificates are supposed to answer this question. For example, the FSC certificate. The FSC has got 10 principles, and all of them create a very nice picture of the production process in our minds. When people see the FSC certificate, they imagine a forest with lots of indigenous plants and a high diversity of species. They think of a forest that blends in with the natural neighboring habitat, like the grasslands here in South Africa. A forest which retains and protects original natural vegetation together with endangered species and indigenous animal life. This forest should not require the use of man-made chemicals, because its fully evolved ecosystem protects the forest from external impacts, and it should control soil erosion. People get the idea of a forest which secures substantial cultural value and provides many different services, such as hiking, collecting mushrooms and berries, and giving healers a chance to search for herbs.
That was exactly my picture of FSC certified forest. And I'm sure many people have the same picture in mind.
There are many FSC certified plantations in South Africa. I went there with Colin Elsbern from the civil society organization Geosphere to have a closer look at them and to find out whether my idea of a FSC certified forest fits to the reality.
More than 80% of the timber plantations in South Africa are FSC certified as responsibly managed forests. This despite the fact that these certified plantations consist of exotic monocultures such as pine and eucalyptus. They exert unnatural pressures on the local water, soil and biodiversity resources. In order to qualify for certification, plantation estates are assessed according to 10 principles, which are applicable to real forests and the environmental and social services and benefits that real forests provide. The first 9 principles refer to the management of real forests. In South Africa, there are no forests which are used economically. There are only monoculture timber plantations. For this reason, it is very difficult and also absurd to apply the FSC principles to the South African timber industry. Only Principle 10 deals with plantations, which can be planted additionally to the normal managed forests. In fact, South African timber plantations are not planted additionally to forests, but as a monoculture which dominates the landscape in some parts of South Africa, as in Mpumalanga. The South African timber plantations are planted and managed in an area which is supposed to be grassland, a very valuable ecosystem that has been destroyed for these plantations. In order to protect indigenous forests, the FSC doesn't certify plantations established in areas converted from natural forests after November 1994. But there is no rule to protect grasslands, although indigenous grasslands are much more biodiverse than an indigenous forest in South Africa. Relating to the environment, industrial high-impact timber plantations are directly in breach of Principles 5, 6, 9 and 10. For example, Principle 6 says,
forest management shall conserve biological diversity and its associated values, water resources, soils, and unique and fragile ecosystems and landscapes, and, by doing so, maintain the ecological functions and the integrity of the forest.
To the contrary, plantations in South Africa negatively affect biological diversity, not conserve its associated values. Plantations destroy the ecological functions and integrity of the natural environment and do not maintain them. Principle 10.6 says,
measures shall be taken to maintain or improve soil structure, fertility, and biological activity. The techniques and rate of harvesting, road and trail construction and maintenance, and the choice of species shall not result in long-term soil degradation or adverse impacts on water quality, quantity, or substantial deviation from stream course drainage patterns.
Soil structure, fertility, and biological activity are being degraded, not improved. The techniques and rate of harvesting, road and trail construction and maintenance, and the choice of species do result in long-term soil degradation and adverse impacts on water quality, quantity, and create substantial deviation from stream course drainage patterns. In contrast to the indigenous grassland vegetation, fast-growing exotics have much more formidable and deep-rooting systems capable of fracturing rocks, accelerating the pace of natural erosion. Principle 10.8 says,
No species should be planted on a large scale until local trials and/or experience have shown that they are ecologically well adapted to the site, are not invasive, and do not have significant negative ecological impacts on other ecosystems.
In South Africa, experience has shown that the large-scale exotic pine plantations are not ecologically well adapted to the site, that they are aggressively invasive, and to have significant negative ecological impacts on other ecosystems. As we can see, timber plantations are no real forests, and in many aspects they do not fit to the FSC principles.
Nevertheless, those timber plantations are FSC certified, and I'm really wondering why the FSC runs the risk of losing its good reputation by certifying these plantations.
We demand a change of the FSC principles towards a plantation certificate, because you must not certify a plantation as a responsibly managed forest. Another solution is to enforce the FSC principles and to change all the plantations to real indigenous forests. In every case, we must stop the destruction of the grassland to expand the timber industry, because the problems caused by these timber plantations do not only affect the few people employed by the timber industry, but the whole community, for example here in Mpumalanga.